sitting on a rainbow, got the string around my finger. I've got the world on a string.
Fresh squeeze. 2014.
Welcome, my people. Welcome, my people. Canada, stand up, hip hop, all the way to the top, man. This is the T-Dot. This your boy Knowledge, the Northern Hussle, and we're here with Johnny D, the Dilemmanade.
Andrew AAA on the beat.
You're from here in Toronto, right?
Yeah, born and raised in Scarborough, and then I moved out to the West Coast and been out there for a long time, and working on music and touring for the past couple of years, and now I'm back in Toronto and just knocked the dust off my old Blue Jay gear, original from time, when I grew up in the Joe Carter dynasty.
So you're a busy man. You got businesses running, you got music going. When did you start music, and what were some of the main influences that took you into that road?
Well, I started, I don't know about making music, but I started rapping when I was about 13 or 14, and I was rapping. My mom had I don't even know who made it, but it was like a karaoke machine, had an 8-track player, so you could put instrumentals in the 8-track, but we used to put a cassette in one side, and then you could record on the other. You put the tape, piece of Scotch tape over the tape and dub over other people's tape. So I really only came to fruition when I went out to the West Coast and linked up with Charles DCEP, and we formed Sketch Bros, and he was a producer out there, and I never really had any links with any producers prior to that. So
I heard names like WC, names like Crazy Bone, and names like Warren G.
My first tour opportunity came, I think it was 2011. It was with Warren G, and just kind of chance opportunity. I had done a lot of shows in Vancouver prior to that, and then this opportunity arose to actually go on the road and branch outside of BC. Made some good inroads with him and his crew, and then it kind of just branched out into Dog Pounds, Bone Thugs, and then I went down to LA and kicked it with a bunch of them. So yeah, that's all the family there, Got up with you guys at North by Northeast. That was a good show.
Move forward, move up, crack like a reverse avalanche, branches snap, that's like new.
Been touring since then with EST family. Working on another tour, hopefully with Machine Gun Kelly coming up soon.
What's it like being on stage with these guys, man?
Dope, man. They're all really, really down-to-earth people, I gotta say. Honestly, when I met up with Bone Thugs especially, it was we kicked it like old high school friends. Cleveland's not that far from Toronto, right?
Now, you've gone through a lot of stuff, man, and you had some traumatizing events that happened to you when you were younger. Heard you don't mind talking about that. Heard you had life-threatening surgery.
Basically, I had abscesses on my brain, and only found out about it through a CAT scan. I had emergency brain surgery about 45 minutes later. It was a 5-hour surgery to remove the abscesses and as well a blood clot that had formed, basically given a 10% chance of survival, and here I am.
How did that event affect your decision making into the hip hop world?
Well, musically it didn't really affect me till years later, I would say. I was kind of like an angry rapper, got into the battle scene and stuff like that, making just kind of angry music, I would say. It's more of an outlet, and then as I dealt with those issues, stemming from whatever, surgery and whatnot, basically it was just the growth of Dilemma into Dilemmanade, and that's what I'm about right now, is just making the most out of the problems that we're faced with.
Let's talk about The Stand.
The Stand, basically, the picture was taken from another photo shoot that I did for this billboard type of thing that I was doing. I was standing in and they were doing the test lighting, and my phone rang, and it was a call from someone very important telling me that I needed to do a ton of work stuff. The photographer happened to catch the panic on my face, and it was basically like I needed to take a stand at that point to really, you know, take the reins and step it up with my music career. I reached out to some producers that I was working with. Andrew AAA, man, he's one of the sickest producers in Canada right now. You're gonna hear a lot from him. Justin Frew, who's a wicked producer out of BC. And my boy Stroker DeLuca, man, I've known that guy for a long time. He's another sick West Coast banger, you know?
As far as Canadian artists, again, we're going to talk about Canadian artists. We're going to specify Canadian artists. We have a lot of big names out here that contributed a lot to hip-hop around the world. We got Maestro, we got Chocolate, you got Socrates, you got Mishimi, the Cardinal Official.
Cardi is dope, you know? He truly embodies, like, I feel what Toronto is, or at least what it was, because it's changing and evolving, but he's like what I grew up in Toronto with, you know?
Nice.
Bacardi slang, you know, that's it. He was the first one to ever teach me how to do a sound check. I was about 17 years old. I opened up at a club called 7 Alexander in Vancouver when I was out there. Obviously, I would love to work with Drake, anyone from OVO. I went and saw Oliver speak, you know, and just dropping knowledge about branding, and look at what those guys have done with their brand, right? It's insane.
What does Johnny Dilemma want to tell the younger viewers, and even guys my age, you know, and guys that are older? What do you want to tell them about hip-hop and getting started, and how to make it to where you are and where you're trying to get to?
I would say just branch out and, you know, try and work with as many people as possible. You need to work a market. You need to build relationships with people, and it really only happens the second, the third, the fourth time going back to you know, a territory, right? But then at the same time, you have to bring it to where it's hot, you know, and that's New York, LA, like, let's be realistic, right? And Toronto is a hotspot now, but you know, if you want to be serious about it, you build where you're at, and then take that to somewhere and say, look, you know, I'm big here, I got this going on, here's my numbers, you know, and you have your social media game on point, whatever. I was fortunate to have little tips and tricks taught to me by big people in the game, like Cardinal Official, and you know, obviously Bone Thugs, Warren G, Dog Pound, like those guys really, you know, schooled me to some shit, so.
What do you think about hip-hop in Toronto and Canada right now? Do you think hip-hop is dead?
No, not at all. It's very strong. If you saw it North by Northeast, there was so many people, you know, different acts representing, and that's only who was in the festival, let alone all the other acts. There's a couple of dope promoters that are putting stuff on. The Big Ticket is one. It's a great venue for artists to get heard. Yeah, no, the scene is definitely not dead. You know, I'm back.
Who would you say is one of the better rappers out here in Canada?
Sunreal is doing good things, and you know, he's a BC boy, so I'm happy to see, you know, Vancouver music getting out there. Obviously his videos are pretty sick. Another one is David Versus. He's from Toronto. I stumbled across him randomly. He ended up doing a project with Arthur MacArthur that was sick. I haven't heard too much from him since, but I know he produced a track for T.I. Always good to see people from Canada doing big things, you know, and pushing music abroad, you know, or internationally, right? You know, and then just my boys, you know, Headline, obviously. Gonna hear a lot more from them. Savage and Fusion, two of the sickest rappers, freestylers as well.
We can't wait to see Dilemma and the Headlines come and put together something real live, man. It's your boy Knowledge. I'm here with the Dilemmanade, taking this all the way to the top, man. Huddy Specs, I see you. Dean, all the way to the top, man. Yo, can we get you doing the Northern Hussle all the way to the top?
Oh yeah. Yo, it's Dilemmanade, Northern Hussle all the way to the top.